for those of you guys out there who are new, at Finessed Media, our purpose for our organization is to focus on artists and music entrepreneurs and help them learn more about music business and music entrepreneurship. So I want to thank everyone for coming, and we have some amazing music supervisors on our panel today. And the purpose of this event is for you guys to be more familiar about the intersection of music and film and TV. So I hope that at the end of today, you all take away some helpful hints and enjoy yourselves, because it's Finessed Media. And again, we all like to enjoy ourselves, right? All right, cool. So I'm going to give everyone a little itinerary as far as our panel goes. We'll first start off with our interview of our panelists, and then we're going to move on to an open Q&A. And so if you guys have any questions as far as the Q&A goes, please hold off until we get to that segment. And then if you make sure, before we even get started in the Q&A, just please have your mics off until we mention or ask you guys to do so, as far as unmuting. And after that, we're going to have our listening session, which is a favorite for everyone. So we're going to get started now. So why don't we start off with going through our panel? So would you all mind introducing yourselves, telling us a little bit about who you guys are and your backgrounds? And we'll start, I'm going to kind of go through who I see on the camera. So we'll start off with you, Patty. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much for inviting me. This is so exciting. I just died to hear what all the co-panelists have to say, really. I saw your work, I investigated a little bit, and I admire what you have done. So it's really nice. Thank you very everyone for connecting. It's so exciting to see 58, 59 people connecting. It's so nice. So I live in Mexico. I've been working here all of my life. I started at the beginning of the century working in authors' rights. I started in SGAE, which is like the Author Society in Spain, in their offices in Mexico. And from there, I started moving to interpreters' rights and producers. And we work with studios, recording studios. And then later on, we started doing clearance for movies, documentaries, most of all. Most lately, we've been doing music supervising. I have an associate, which is my sister. She's my right hand and my left hand and everything. She's the love of my life, Alejandra. And she has also a really keen ear, and she's going to be top supervisor. I'm sure of it. And I also work with Jacobo Fasja, and he's like on the creative side of music supervising. And we do almost everything, almost every project together. And so yeah, that's my background. My main focus in my business is royalty collection and income tracking, authors' rights. So and this clearance stuff. So what we were talking about, Jeffrey, is totally my stuff. Reading contracts, making negotiations, and all those sort of things. So that's it. That's
navigating international copyright law.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, Patty. So we'll move on to Lana.
Hi, I'm Lana. I have always wanted to be a music supervisor. I think it started when I was maybe 10 or 11, and I played violin for 17 years. So I was always involved in like youth orchestra and playing scores and things like that. Really was inspiring to me. And then I don't know if you are how old everybody is, but there was this show called The OC that Alex Katsavis was a music supervisor for, and following her career and seeing like the marriage of music to a TV scene or something like that just really kind of brought out that passionate side of me. And so ever since I was basically 10, I've been working to get to where I am now. I started off in trailers back in 2014. First, I was at Aspect, which is a trailer house, and I was there for about 5-6 years. And then most recently, I moved to a company called Wildcard, where I've been for the last couple years, But I'm going to be fully transparent with you guys. COVID has taken a huge hit. I'm sorry, our industry has taken a huge hit to this pandemic, and unfortunately, I've been laid off as of 2 weeks ago. So I'm visiting my parents in the East Coast, you know, running back to mommy and daddy for a hug because I need it. So I'm an open book. If you guys have any questions, I'm not shy. I, you know, love to talk about what I do. I'm really passionate about it, and I just love to help. And you know, anything you guys want to know, just ask.
Thank you so much, Lana, for that. And, you know, everything's going to work out. Everything is, you know, for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm truly optimistic. Like, I feel like, truthfully, that the landscape of trailers is going to be changing here. You know, movies are not in theaters right now, so that's just how it is. Our industry has been cut down by like 50%, and I'm just another casualty in this pandemic. But I'm confident enough in like my abilities, and I'm lucky enough to have great friends and a great reputation. So I'm very optimistic about where this is going to take me. And they always say, you know, when one door closes, another one opens. And I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. And maybe this is just the next step for me to be somewhere bigger and better. So I'm really hopeful, you guys. But thanks for the support. Reading everything in the chat. It's so sweet.
You'll be okay. There's no lack of content. There's just a lack of creation right now. It's just an unplanned vacation. They're gonna have to market all the new content in probably the next 4 to 6 months. So
I'm really
there'll be a hiring spree, at least for the first shot.
I think the biggest thing that I'm just worried about is my fiance and I just bought a house.
Oh.
So it's kind of like a bad time to be laid off, but you know, I'm a good saver, so I've got that going for me, and just trying to keep my head up in terms of like mortgage payments and things like that. That's the most stressful thing. But and I'm sure many of you have kids, so I'm lucky enough that I don't have that right now. So I can totally feel for everybody who's going through the same thing that I am, and I'm here for you. So.
All right.
Thank you so much, Lana.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So we're going to move on to Jeffrey.
Oh, hey. So I don't know, quick shot. I got in this business as a musician. I wanted to just be a guitar player in a band, and then nobody was writing the songs. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll try and write songs. This is, you know, when I was young. And I learned all about, you know, what it means to copyright and publish songs and all that stuff, because I bought all these books and I read everything and blah, 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 blah. I came out to Los Angeles just doing, you know, the day job and playing music. And I got a job at a music publisher, and they were like, hey, you understand all this stuff already. And I'm like, yeah, I taught myself or whatever. So they gave me more responsibility, and it just led to like, okay, there's really nothing else I can or want to do, is I might as well stay in the music business, and I don't, you know, I'm not going to be a rock star. So I just started doing those jobs, and I'm like music supervisor by default because I know how to clear music. So, and then, you know, I don't not have a creative side. I have the ability to talk to the suits and the creatives because I'm both, and it lends itself to that. So supervision, I'm the reluctant supervisor. We're from the old school where it was not reluctance, but we fell into the job. There was no classes, there was no college track, there was none of that. You just like, somebody's got to do it. So that's what kind of happens. But I'm definitely more at home in the paper pushing, clearance, negotiating, you know, convincing people to get stuff done. But I'm never adverse to supervising as well as providing creative input. But I'm really good at like stepping away and saying like, hey, it's your creative project. What do you want? You know, I'll just go get it.
Go get it. I know that.
Yeah. And then they can't get it because they can't afford it. And then I have to be creative.
Right. Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
No problem.
And last but not least, Brian.
Yeah, man. What's happening, everybody? A lot of familiar faces, a lot of people hitting me up via the chat. Good to see everybody. If I'm familiar, it's because I did this a while ago and showed up tragically late So Once Upon a Time. And yeah, that was weird. So I felt horrible about that. But anyway, glad to be here on time today.
Thank you.
Quick background. Much like a lot of the other cats have said already, I got into music super early, man. My parents put me in the church choir when I was like 5. So got hip to singing super early, grew up in choirs and stuff around town, moved, by the time I went to college, was a music major. I did vocal jazz up at Howard University. And then I did another year because after I finished, was like, okay, where do we go with the jazz studies degree and performing? We'll go perform. So I took another year and went to Full Sail down in Orlando, and I got my associates in recording arts. And the reason that's important is because, I wanted to learn both sides. I want to learn, the creative side, of course, and the technical side, like knowing how to run a studio, how to, how to engineer the whole 9. So moved here to LA in about 2008. Worked for the company Bunim Productions. You guys will know them. Used to tell people because of Real World, but you probably know them better because of Kardashians and there's Kardashians, Bad Girls Club, a couple other shows. Started out there. That's literally my first introduction to supervision. I was there for a couple years. After that, I ended up transitioning into trailers. I worked for a company called Trailer Park, probably one of the bigger trailer houses in town. And we worked with a ton of different clients. And now I work at Disney. I've been there on the trailer side as well. I've been there now, this week, 3 years. And we've worked on a ton of different projects. I mean, if it's a Disney thing, we probably had a hand in it, whether it's Avengers, Star Wars, Black is King, Hamilton, like you name it. If it comes through the door, we might have worked on it. We'll get into the competition of trailer houses later, but yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it.
Thank you so much for sharing that as well, Brian. So this is gonna actually lead to my first question. So I know that you guys have an interesting role of combining music with different types of media. And I know you guys work with directors and artists and managers, a whole plethora of people. So who do you spend the most time with as far as collaboration goes, and why? We'll start with you, Lana. We're just gonna keep it moving.
So I can only speak to being on staff at a trailer house. And so a lot of the collaborations we have are internal with the editors or producers. Usually the process and what ends up happening is we'll get a film in. It'll come in as early as maybe script stage or green stage, but we'll be able to watch pretty much the whole film in its entirety. And from there, we can create a poll of our initial thoughts or ideas, maybe anything that kind of sparks interest for us. And usually that happens prior to there being like a kickoff call or something like that with the client. And just one of the things that I want to mention here is like Brian and I are in the, in my purse. Sorry guys. Brian and I are in the business of marketing. So our job is to market a film and not necessarily we don't put music to the film. So our job is to get butts and seats, right? So from that point, we'll then have a client conversation where there might be a creative brief provided, and we'll collaborate with the editor and the producer internally to come up with a direction that seems fitting to market that particular piece. So I would say that's where most of our interaction comes from. And then the other part of that is that we also work a lot with independent composers or trailer music libraries, labels, publishers. We work all across the board in terms of all different styles of music, sound design, commercial music, library music, film scores. So the other portion of our interaction is with that industry in terms of like customizing the music or getting new music that hasn't been released yet or covers made. So it's a more internal, I would say, for us.
Thank you, Lana. Thank you. We'll go next with you, Jeffrey.
Who am I working with mostly? Mostly in my case, I'm doing low budget stuff. So I work like directly with directors, it's their vision. They might have to wind up being the editors and things like that. I've worked corporate, but not as a supervisor. I did the clearance side, like MTV. I was there for like 4 years, and the supervisors there, they're working with me and they work with the editors and what have you. But yeah, mostly my interaction is going to be with usually it's directors, because again, small budget, so it's really hands-on. I may deal with an editor if there's a separate one, if there's something that has to be edited, or they need guidance on what parameters they're allowed to edit to. If I've cleared any kind of like extra, mostly the trailer is going to do that. But if they have to add music to an existing composition to make a derivative, or add it to a recording for a derivative, I've done it all. So yeah, I'll work with anybody who's in the process of creatively applying music and clearing it and what have you. So, we're as independent music supervisors, you're generally going to be clearing a lot, because unless you're working for production that is going to ultimately be on one of the bigger networks, they may have a clearance department for you. But even if you're doing like the coolest independent films, it's probably you're doing a lot of the clearance. So where was I going with that? I forgot. Great.
If I could just add to Jeff's real quick, I know he's an independent music supervisor, and there's totally a difference in terms of creative percentages and clearance percentages. So like someone who works at a trailer house doesn't really have to deal with clearances, because we have the backup of a studio to do that for us.
Right.
So we typically just provide like a cue sheet, and then Warner Brothers or Sony or whoever the major studio is would then take on the actual administrative duties of getting it cleared. And I think like percentages wise, I'll say like my job is 75% creative, 25% admin. Whereas I think, Jeff, you would say 50-50, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It depends. Like if I'm yeah, I guess it's 50-50 when it evens out. But like the films where I've had to be like the full-on music supervisor, I'm collecting all the music from everywhere, looking for replacements, doing it, stuff like that. Yeah, then it becomes 50-50. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I try and find all the music in one place sometimes, so it's less percentage of having to clear it. It's like all at least one publisher or one label. Like how much variance do we have?
Right. No, exactly. But thank you for that, Jeffrey. So
yeah. But I'll expand real fast. I'm sorry. As a music supervisor, you're dealing with so many entities, to get the project done, because there's a lot of, artist contact. If it's music heavy, it's music intensive. The use is very important. There's, all this politics involved. Is it a grand rights? Are you using the song as part of the script, or it's incorporated into the script? It's necessary. Like there's a lot of negotiations with managers, even the business managers, especially if you're doing clearance. So we deal with a lot of entities to get music into films to help tell the story, or media, but not, sorry, that's film wise and maybe television, but not trailer. I'm not speaking on behalf of them.
Yeah, but even sometimes in that too, a lot of times people aren't familiar with the process. So you're dealing with them too and walking them through the process and what that looks like. So yeah, whole nother set of problems.
And I was going to say, Brian, how about for you? Do you also collab with other people as well? Or is it very similar to Jeffrey and Lana?
Well, yeah, it's very similar to what they said. I think any supervisor is in that same position, whether you're on the trailer side or film side or TV side. It's all about collaboration. It's not like a one person situation. You know what I mean? Like on the side that I'm on, working for a studio for, marketing, we work with, libraries. We work with people who's specifically pitch houses. We work with labels as well, but we also work with these composers and producers that specialize in trailer, and I kind of have to always emphasize that, because I think a lot of times people don't really know what that looks like. And if I'm saying like, hey, I work, we use trailer music, and people are like, what's trailer music? it's probably best to just walk away from the situation, you know, because it is a specific sound. But we work with a ton of them. But like they both said, fortunately, I'm in a situation where our percentage is 100% creative, because we technically can't discuss, you know, negotiations and deals and terms, because a lot of times there are other spots coming from other companies, other vendors, like whether it be a Wild Card or Ignition or whoever else it would be, because we have to compete to win out on trailers. So we can't discuss money at all. So I appreciate it, because I literally get to just sit back and work on the creative, which is great. But yeah, any other situation, and when I'm working on, like, you know, like Jeff said, like whether it's a small budget or little to no budget kind of project, you know, yeah, you got to do your own clearance.
Can I just add to Brian's real quick? I just want to provide some clarity a little bit on what he means by the whole competition. So one thing that people don't really know is, like, there are probably about 10 major trailer houses, you know, between Los Angeles, mostly in Los Angeles, maybe a couple in New York. And we are, not only is there internal competition where an editor is competing with another editor at one shop, there is external competition in that my shop is competing with Brian's shop to win, like, a property or a campaign. So for example, Black Widow is a Disney property. Wildcard was given an option, or sorry, given the opportunity to cut a trailer to this for this campaign. And I'm sure Brian, being in-house Disney, also had that opportunity, as did 4 or 5 other of the trailer houses in our industry. So
we didn't work on that one, but yes, good point.
Oh, yeah. So there's internal competition, and then there's competition within each of the other trailer shops. And then just something I always mention, you know, is what I call the ladder of death. And I know the 2 Daniels that are here right now have heard me talk about this ladder of death, but it's like at any moment your music could die. So, like, you know, you get through the supervisor, but then you have to make it through to the editor, the producer. The producer then sends it to the creative director, who sends it to the marketing client, who then takes it to the director, and then the actor. You know, sometimes they all have a say. So at any point, what is solid creative has now just, you know, entered, you know, hell, because it's completely dead, or it needs to be reworked or whatever. So,
and that's why we don't celebrate until it's on TV.
Yeah.
Like until it's in a space, we really can't say, oh yeah, this is finished. We literally don't say it's finished until the world sees it.
And I've had trailers that have been locked. So I did the Bohemian Rhapsody song for Suicide Squad back in the day, and that trailer was well loved by everybody, but I want to say it almost died like maybe 4 times for various reasons. And it, you know, it was locked and then unlocked and then going to finish, and then, oh nope, something else came up, and then the actor didn't like this part, so we had to change it, and then there was just, you know, so just be mindful that there's a lot of inner competition, and then there's also this ladder of death that you have to rise above.
Now, for you, Patty, was it also like a similar experience?
Yeah, I have to deal with directors and editors. Sometimes it comes a project when they tell you, you can, like, here is the project, you do whatever you want. And this is like the best thing that could happen to you, because no one is going to have an opinion about what you're doing as a music supervisor, but the company or the distributor. In this case, like, digital distributors right now are, you know, taking all the shots. But I do for series showrunners and producers, but yeah, most of the times directors and editors. And we also have to do our own clearance, and clearance, it refers, Travis, to, yeah, legal, you know, authorizations to use the music. You have to get author's rights and master rights. So for each track, you at least have to knock on 2 doors to unlock them. So if you're going to do like urban project, for example, these new songs that are made of about 10 writers, who they just get in an auditorium and each of you is gonna write a chord for the song. So then you have this, huge list of authors. That's really a nightmare, because that means you have to knock a lot of doors for one single song. So, and most of the time, I do spend a lot of time listening to music. That's right. I'm always listening to music, but I also have a lot of administrative work. I have to make a lot of calls, read a lot of agreements, make a lot of negotiations, and then get a lot of information organized in all sorts of documents, from the cue sheet to technical information. And well, it's a lot of work that is not necessarily creative, but it's fun anyways. You get to work with labels and publishing houses and sync agents and artists and managers, and so that's fun. So from the creative side, on the film side, directors and producers. On the other side of the right holders, labels, publishers, agents, artists, independent artists. And one of my favorite words is, well, my favorite terms is one-stop shop. That's music to our ears. So.
And that actually leads to my second question. So what's your music selection process like? We'll start with you, Jeffrey.
Selection process. Well, we get the creative, brief, you get a script, you get lines saying, we need music here, that what have you. As far as getting it, the initial reaction is if it's blank, if it's like we need, soft poetic music. I don't even know what the description would be today. In the script, if something hits me initially, I've got something, in my memory bank. I'm like, oh, that might be good for that. Things that I've cataloged before, that I've taken in, or that I know that, and I do think in terms of clearance too often because of the projects I work on. So I'm like, oh, is there a budget? And then from there, like it's, the mechanicals of acquiring music for a production, right? So you go to your trusted sources. That's really it. I mean, you start there. You go, do I need a bunch of library beds? What library am I going to? Do I need custom? Do I have somebody for custom? Do I need, commercial music that's not expensive? Am I going to, smaller labels or sync houses that, that pitch both sides? That kind of stuff. I mean, my process is, ask. If I don't know it, I just ask, hey, do you have this music? Do you have something like this? And then everyone is willing to send you way more than you need.
Right. And that's true, because I feel like a lot of times there's just so much music out there. There's so much. So it's just a matter of what you want, picking and choosing what fits what scenario, depending on what you're working on.
Well, it's weird. Okay, so I generalize sometimes. It's a huge generalization, but it's not completely. You can kind of make it happen. I think that almost any piece of music can fit almost any scene. It's really about how it's edited. But do you want to tell the story that way? That's the creative part of this, is that, we're using music to help tell the story. The music is a character in every scene that it's used. It's either a lead actor, it's, the big part, or it's just a bit player and it's the background music. But, I treat music as it's an actor as well in everything. It helps tell the story. That's the mission of the creative part of it. But that being said, you can really, really, really edit picture and music to make anything fit. So like everyone, I don't know. Yeah. So it's not impossible, but it could change the narrative, I suppose.
And how about you, Brian? How's your music selection like? And thank you, Jeffrey.
It's very similar. There is a lot of music available, and it's impossible to go through everything. I know sometimes people reach out like, hey man, here's my track, and it's overwhelming at times. But we often do lean on, you know, a lot of these companies, whether it is, you know, like I said, the libraries or the, you know, whoever these people might be. And for what, once again, for what it is that we do, because it's different for everyone. I always tell people that we prefer going through them. I know a lot of times people want to reach out to supervisors directly, but we typically prefer going through one of those houses because we know that they have QC'd the material. We know that they've given it an ear, that they know, okay, you should do this, you should tweak this, because by the time it gets to us, we're hoping that it's not an issue of quality. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of times, sometimes people just want to pitch it thinking, oh, I can get my stuff here, but the quality isn't always there. So usually we prefer going through them. And yeah, like Jeff already said, we're already listening to so much stuff. You just kind of like, I'm regularly going through old emails. Like I just did a pull this week, and I pulled the song that was from an email from last year. Thankfully, said email was from a label, and you know, they send links that don't expire. You know, I'm sure later we can also talk about, you know, how you send your material and sending links that don't, you know, expire, because you might send something thinking that we're never going to see it, but it'll come around eventually. Like everything is on the table when it gets to the email. So yeah.
Right. Thank you. And Patty and Lana, are there any like preferred library houses when it comes to, I guess, music selection?
Oh, that question.
Well, there are tons of libraries, and their quality just vary from one another. It depends on what you're looking for, and but preferred libraries. Netflix and Amazon and all of those, they have deals with some of them. Oh, everyone, every major producer.
Preferred vendor lists. In order to get music into those big companies, you have to get it pre-approved as a preferred vendor.
Right.
Right.
Like it's not only them, it's just every producing company, big producing company, they just try to make deals, you know, to make like the best of libraries, and it's just like a common thing. So no, for me, it's just like the first investigation of music in a general way. It doesn't matter where I get the music from. But then when I am selecting music specifically for a project, I go to sources that I know they have the rights, and I know that they do have everything to get it clear as fast as possible and with good quality. And I am sure all of us, we have tons of playlists of a lot of you know, houses and libraries and labels and such. So the first kind of research is in a general way, but then when you actually want to synchronize something, then you go to your preferred sources, like the ones you trust and you know they have the rights.
I actually have a different perspective on everything that has been said. But actually, first, before I get into that, I apologize for the phone ringing. I'm on my mom's laptop and I don't know how to turn any of that stuff off. So if you do know how, private message me.
You'll have to answer her calls on it.
It's like vote, you know, and I'm just like, it decline, but I don't know how to turn that off. So if somebody knows, please private message me, because I'm so sorry. But I actually have a very different experience with pitching music and listening to music. I am a firm believer in getting we get like 300 emails a week from labels, publishers, libraries. Wow. Yes, we do prefer, as a trailer supervisor, we do prefer music from a trailer library, only because they know how to build the cues in a way that works best for a trailer. And sometimes that's like in 3 parts, where you have like an intro, a mid, and then a big back end. Not all songs have that, but music is useful for very many different types of media, not just trailers. You know, something that might work for in a TV show or a TV promo, it might not work for a trailer, but it would work for something like that. So there is use for all types of music. And then the other thing I'll say is that trailers out of film and TV
have the largest budgets. So luckily, if you're working on a big film, big campaign, Black Widow, I said that earlier, the cost to license is going to be much higher than if you were to license that same song for a TV show or an in-film use. So if you can land a big fish like a trailer, that's where, you know, a musician will make most of their money. For me personally, I have scoured SoundCloud, I've scoured YouTube, and very rarely does it ever really pay off. But I mean, I can tell you right now, I found some rapper dude like 4 years ago that had a few videos to his name, but he just had this really awesome beat that he produced. I hit him up on YouTube and we've collaborated with each other. It's very rare that it happens, but it does happen. And then that being said, yes, we do have a lot of playlists that we work with, and I'm sorry, that we create ourselves, and then we'll draw back to like those playlists for inspiration. But a lot of the times, like, I'm gravitated towards the really weird stuff because the trailer shops that I've worked at have had, you know, I've had the opportunity to work on really unique projects that call for you know, different styles of music. So you don't have to be a pop or a mainstream or you know, a aggressive hip hop. My mentality is just be authentically you, and your passion will come through, and you know, it'll come across our desk one day, and it might not have it obviously doesn't happen for everybody, but if you're really passionate and like you keep doing what you're doing, then you'll be fulfilled by that. So yeah, I think I just try and listen to everything. So I'm very thankful for all of you guys, because we wouldn't be able to do what we do without, you know, the music. So
right, absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that. So this is actually my last question, and I know this is going to be extremely helpful for a lot of musicians out there, but what can artists do to make your jobs easier? We will start off with you, Brian.
Sure. Well, like, excuse me, like we just kind of went into a little bit. First and foremost, I always think the first thing that you have to do is you fix your metadata. You know, I just posted about this like last week on LinkedIn, but I think sometimes people overlook the importance of metadata. For those of you who might not be as familiar with that, it's literally the information that you put within a song. So wherever that song may travel, the information is already encoded, whether I'm pulling it up on, you know, iTunes or whatever, or if it's not even, you know, on it should be on the file itself first and foremost, because everyone's not going to go to Spotify to get the song info, or they're not going to go to All Music or wherever, but have that information on the song. Like, and when I say the information, I should know the song title easily. I should know the artist name easily. There should be a contact, a way for us to contact you. You know, the less work that we have to do as supervisors, the better it is for things to flow smoothly and for them to want to work with you in the future. So I believe metadata is key. But another thing that I also always kind of have to mention is do the research, guys. I think that as a musician, it's one, like, and you know, and going to school, when I was in school, we used to have to learn jazz like solos. They would make us learn like old Miles Davis solos and all this kind of stuff, and we would always wonder like, why is that? But it was to build your vocabulary. And I look at supervision in the exact same way, whether you want to be a supervisor or you are a musician who wants to get stuff licensed. I think that it is very key. Like, I run into a lot of people that are just like, hey, use my music, but they don't watch a lot of shows, or they don't watch a lot of movies, or there's a disconnect there. So if you're not knowing what people are using, like if you're not familiar with the projects that either Jeff or Patty or Lana are working on, then how, you know, like, you're just kind of throwing an arrow in the dark. The more you know their projects and the more stuff you're watching, the more you have an understanding of the sound that they might consider, then the better off you'll be. And the more your music will begin to reflect the things that, you know, that you're seeing on TV. That's just a personal take. People might disagree with it, and that's cool. But I definitely see a lot of that, you know, when I hear from people. So, yeah.
Now, would you say for you, Patty and Lana and Jeffrey, do you guys have a similar I guess, input as far as artists and reaching out to you guys, or do you guys have something that's completely different?
No, Brian said it. Metadata is fundamental, and also be sure to have all your legal stuff, you know, regarding the track in order. Have agreements with whoever you need to have agreements with, so you have the author's rights and the master rights on your hand, or you have the contact of the people or company who has it. And if you can include that information then in the metadata, then it's awesome. With the contact, that's it. You know, tags, like words. We're not gonna look for your name of the name of you as an artist or the title of your song. We don't know you. We don't know what. But if you include tags, sounds like, and genres and emotions and concepts related to it, then it's so much easier for us.
I agree with everyone. The creative is the easy part. You're a creative person. You're making music. That's easy. You make it. You put it out. If you're pitching to people, if you're doing the pitching, or at least if you're partially involved in your representative, pitching, you want to be involved in it. I say it all the time. That's a B2B business. There's two businesses at least that you are as this musician. If you are making records also and word touring or whatever, that is a direct to consumer business where you're selling merchandise, you're selling albums, you're getting people to listen. The B2B side of that is you're dealing with other businesses to use products, copyrights that you control to place them inside of their other products. And really, I can't stress enough that it's not any kind of release of your creative ability or your delicate, artist persona to work both sides if you can. If you're incapable and you're the schizophrenic, amazing artist that may burn out at 27, get other people to handle it for you. But if you, have a modicum of, you went to college or you at least tried to do college, you should be able to navigate both worlds. And the people that are really successful at getting the trailer music and getting the synchronization stuff, and you're hearing the stuff on the TV and all that, is because they kind of are catering to that world now. They learn how am I going to get the edge? And the edge is if I talk the talk.
Right. If you, Lana, is it similar?
Yeah. I would say that it is very similar. Metadata is great. Just one thing that I want to add is that I am, and this might be just a personal thing, but I'm not a fan of albums. Don't send me a full album because I will not and cannot possibly go through that. As I said, we get 300, 400 emails a week of albums. And so I love playlists. I love samplers. I love listen if you like, that little tag. I like things that are, this would be great for a James Bond. This would be great for Cinderella, something like that. Anything that makes searching my emails, searching my iTunes much easier. Just like Patty said, tags are super helpful, but even in the body of an email, it would just be really helpful to say here's 5 songs that I think are really great for trailers. This one would be awesome for James Bond. This would be awesome for Cinderella, or this contains a sample. This has been used before, but only the instrumental. Just any type of information you can throw is really helpful.
Can I piggyback on that right quick? Mm-hmm. When she says samplers, I know this might be, kind of generic to explain, but a lot of times people send material and they're like, yo, here's 12 seconds of a song. And I'm like, nah, man, on the trailer side, we want to hear the whole thing because we need to, like Lana mentioned earlier, I want to hear if you have a 3-act structure. I want to hear, did you create a theme in the beginning? Did it build in the middle? And what does the back end sound like? I want to hear the full thing because that's a very key thing. And also to all my producer peeps out there, or, whoever's creating and you have, whatever workstation you're working on, whether it's Logic or whatever, keep stems. We regularly request stems for all of your music, because there are a chance in case folks aren't familiar with the concept of stems, you know, stems are the individual pieces of the song, whether it's just your drums, your keys, your synths, your pads, or whatever the case may be, because there are instances where we'll hear a song and we say, we want to take this part out and we want to take this part out, or we want to boost this a little bit more, to do a bit of a recreation of it, not necessarily a remix. We're not going to take your song and put beats underneath, like, come on guys, but it is important for what it is that we do, because we want, in many instances, we need to tailor whatever the track is to make it work a little bit better. So please keep your stems, keep it on a hard drive, just get like a terabyte thing and just keep them in there somewhere, just in case they're needed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there are some, sorry to whoever.
No, go.
I think there are some artists out there who are really protective of their assets, and you have all the right to be. You know, if you don't want to give things out, that's fine, but just know that at least in trailer world, stems are essential. And usually the case is not that we want to mess things up, like Brian said, but we want to enhance. We want to bring out the drums that you have there that are already existing, and we just want to make them louder, sound bigger, or, you know, maybe we need to add strings to your track, and in which case, oh, that's actually something really interesting that I totally forgot to mention, but I mentioned customizations earlier. So a lot of the times we'll have a commercial track, and maybe it doesn't have a big enough build in the back end, or maybe it doesn't have the emotional strings. So what Brian and I would do is we would go to a trailer music library or an independent composer and ask them if they're able to augment or overlay. And this gets into really muddy clearancing, but for people who are really protective of their songs, if we like the song and we just need to add some additions to it, just know that in trailers, that's a possibility. And it would obviously help to have your approval on things like that. But in the ladder of death, if you don't allow us to do it, it won't go any further. So I just kind of like wanted to add that. And if you have any questions, I know I just spewed a lot of information at you, but feel free to ask for clarification.
And actually, I'm sorry, Patty, I know you had something.
Just a quick thing, because Brian says something really interesting about samples. Sending samples of your music is not so cool, but there is also another use of samples when you use someone else's master and sample it inside of your song, and that is terrible, because you cannot license a master that is not fully yours. You would need to get the license from the original master that you're using for sampling. So if you can just avoid sending any supervisor music with samples, or if you do, just say in big capital words, like, this is a sample from Rihanna or whatever, and then we know, oh, we're not gonna get this, So just get real with the sampling thing.
And if you're serious about synchronization, have a clean version of your dirty song too,
please. And maybe cut downs too. Cut downs are good, since we're, on the app side and on the, the TVs, or, the trailer side, have cut down versions too. It wouldn't be the worst idea to consider it. You have a full version, and then you might have a 1 minute version, 30-second, 15 version. Granted, we know it's a lot of legwork, but guys, this is what all of the pros do, for these libraries that we're very reluctant to mention, but that's what they do. If you go to certain websites, you can actually check out some of the libraries and how they sort their music. Oh, I like this song, cool. I want, a smaller version, because sometimes I just want a 30-second version of it or whatever. So it's just something to consider, just taking those extra steps.
Thank you. And I hope all you guys wrote all this information down, because our panel was speaking some gems.
Yeah, Julius, I saw you driving in your parked now.
So just making sure.
On blast.
I love it. I love how he's sitting there driving and like just totally vibing with us. I love it. That's dedication. I'm proud, man.
You're right. Thank you for that. Thank you. So we're actually going to move on to our open Q&A. So this is the time, everyone. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat, and I will also look to see who has any questions. If you guys want to raise your hand, and just unmute your mic when asked. So let's get it started. I know we had a question earlier as far as gaming goes. I'm gonna just scroll up in the chat. I've seen it before.
Shout out to both of the Daniels too, because they actually make incredible stuff. And if you guys don't know them, then it'd be a good idea to get your network on, because we work with these people. So yeah.
Very good guys.
So yeah, so this question is from, actually it's from Dee. Do you also deal with gaming?
We do gaming trailers. I don't do supervision for gaming. I've done like The Sims 4, Call of Duty. I've done all that. The coolest thing I would say about games is we play a lot with panning, which is like it, sounds moving from left to right. That's not something that you can really achieve like when you're in a commercial song or something like that. It's usually sound effects or sound design that helps you move the music from your left to the right. And there's been a lot of really cool things happening in gaming, because now with the introduction of VR, they are developing sound design where if you're standing here and you turn your head, you want to be able to hear the sound from your back right. And if you turn it to the right, then you want to still hear it in your back right versus having it move, just one-dimensionally. So there's a lot of really cool things happening in gaming. Unfortunately, their budgets are not that big for trailers anyway. But yeah, I've had experience clearing and supervising for games, which if you want to check out my reel, you can go to my website, it's lanabui.com.
Plug.
There. I'm unemployed. Leave me alone.
Oh, plug. Shoot, yeah. I don't blame you.
Here in Mexico, we don't have a lot of productions of video games. Most of it is done in other countries, but I haven't had the opportunity of doing music supervising for video games. I know a friend of mine has done it, and I just pitched a bunch of songs because I come from, remember, I come from the royalty collection side of it. So I do control catalogs from some artists. So I've been on both sides of the table, being the supervisor, but also being the rights holder. So, but I haven't been able to supervise any of it. I would love to, but.
So we're actually going to move on to our next question. I see John Martin.
Hey, thanks. Just want to say thanks to everybody for doing this. It's really great to hear some of this advice and info. So my question is, with the pandemic and everything changing the industry the way it has right now, what advice would you have for composers and producers as far as staying in touch and pitching goes at this point? Because I've kind of let my business peeps I'm just kind of laying back right now, and I'm still working on new music, but I also don't want to lose connection with the connections that I have been building in the industry. So what would your advice be? What's the easiest thing for you guys? We don't want to be bombarding you when people are laid off, Lana, and when there's no work going on. But at the same time, I would like to stay in contact and kind of be at the, on people's mind when we do go back to work.
Since you called me out specifically, I'll just say, like, I'm using this time to finally get up to date on music. So realistically, if I listened to every single album, I would still be stuck somewhere in like 2015 in terms of like music that I've listened to. So I would say, keep sending. Don't be discouraged if I don't respond to you, because I get too many. But at the same time, I am trying to use this time wisely and stay up to date and find some really cool stuff. I tend to gravitate more towards music that has unique rhythms or sound design or percussive breaks, something like that, so that we could mold a trailer, to it. So and one thing I do want to mention is, like, a lot of people have singer-songwriter stuff. A lot of people have, pop music, and that's great. I'm really happy that you are following your passion. I don't want you to be discouraged if it just doesn't work for trailers, because sometimes that music just doesn't. So you might send it to me and I might hear it and I might play it in my car, but I might never use it. And that's fine, as long as you're, you know, again, being authentically you and doing what it is that you like to do. But yeah, keep on sending. I'll take it.
All right. Thank you for
Anybody else? Brian, your thoughts?
I mean, nothing to add to that. That's it. All you can do is keep sending, because things are in flux right now. Like they're shuffling. Like Jeff mentioned earlier, yeah, there's content being made, but you know, you got to remember I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure maybe like half plus of the industry is working from home right now. Like we're not even on the, you know, the various lots or in offices or workplaces. So we're just kind of trying to make it work as best we can. So it's really the same for you. You know, all you got to do is just keep pushing and plugging to whoever it is that you have contacts with. Stay in contact, because at the end of the day, supervision and sync as a whole is such a relationship based industry. It all comes down to the relationships. So do what you can to just maintain those relationships as best as you can.
I understand. Okay. Hey, how's your daughter doing?
She's cool. I hope sleep.
Probably
awake now. I'm sure of it. I'm sure. I'm not going to touch that doorknob, because I'm sure she's going to go nuts in a minute.
All right, man. Thanks.
So we have another question. Miss Taylor Davies.
Hi. I put this in the chat as well, but my question is, what would you recommend aspiring music supervisors pursue as far as internships and other opportunities? I find that there aren't as many opportunities for music supervisors, at least in school where I am, in university. Do you recommend any specific companies or reaching out to like specific music supervision companies as far as opportunities?
Right now, it's not the greatest, because everyone's, you know, figuring out the staffing and what have you. Again, it's in some places it's been heating up. You know, people who have the jobs and stuff like that. So reaching out for getting those internships. Does your school have contacts? You say you're in school still? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm in school at University of the Arts, and no one at the school really that I have asked thus far, which are like the top people, know any connections with music supervisors.
So they don't have a history of providing internships through that.
No, unfortunately.
Okay. That's all right. That's fine. It's not, you know, are you part of like the music business program at your school? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm a music business major.
Do you have an organization that represents you at the school, like a professional organization?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Are you
like
in LA?
The student?
No,
Yeah.
I'm in Philadelphia.
It is Philly, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe Grammy chapter?
I'm gonna reach out to them shortly, but I don't know what they're doing as far as right now with the pandemic and everything.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Bad, Jeff. Go for it, Jeff. My bad.
Well, I'll expand on what you were going to say about the Grammy thing too. You might be the liaison. You might be the person setting up the music, you know, business, reach out, whatever it is, ambassador, whatever. I would reach out to the Grammy Foundation in LA. I would call them, because they're putting together like a music supervision type of department. I think, was it Angela's in there? Is that who it is?
Maybe Moon Baby.
DJ Moon Baby.
Yeah, Moon Baby.
Yeah. Also, yeah. So, and they work hand in hand with Grammy U and education stuff. They usually work with younger kids, but they'll need more people to offer programs to. And also reach out to the Guild of Music Supervisors and say, you know, hey, we're another educational institution that wants access to what you got. So they'll provide, you know, at the least, you know, for people that are in LA or doing other internships in LA, they'll give them into activities where they can meet people and network. They'll have them do volunteer work and stuff like that. But as far as like seeking out the internships, stay corporate or make relationships. Like, you know, the independent music supervisor, I guess just hit them up, and really it's the honesty and the connection. Like, this is what I want. This is what I'd like to do. If you've got something, please let me know. Otherwise, corporate wise, oops, my thing popped. Yeah, you would want to approach them as a representative of the school and say, we're looking for internships in your departments for these things.
A little story to add to kind of what Jeff said is, like, I absolutely believe that the way to make it in this industry is through connections.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge push for you if you have somebody on your side. And I'll just tell you a little story about realistically actually how I got into this world. Was I wanted to be music supervisor ever since I was 10. I put myself through college by bartending. So I went to school full time and I bartended full time. And this girl came in and she was with her mom, and they came in for a happy hour, and I served them drinks and just got started talking. And I told her, like, you know, I'm graduating in a couple months, and I want to move to LA, and I want to work with all these composers, and I want to be a supervisor. And then at the end, so keep in mind, this is in Portland, Oregon, which is where I graduated from college. And she hands me her business card, and she was working in the music department at Warner Brothers Pictures. And that moment for me was like absolute kismet, fate, because she was like this kind of guiding light that literally came out of nowhere. And if I wasn't authentically myself and talking about myself and my excitement and passion for this industry, she probably never would have given me her business card. I never would have made that connection. She was instrumental in helping me get my first internship at Cobalt Music Publishing. And then from there, my supervisor at Cobalt put me in touch with different supervisors from every media so I could figure out which media I wanted to be in, whether it was film, TV, or trailers. And then from, you know, you build those relationships, you connect, you network. And then a couple years later, I landed at my first real gig, which was at a trailer shop. And I've been there ever since. So again, my advice is be authentically you. Try and create relationships wherever you can. As a supervisor, I don't really like cold calling. That's not something that I'm into, but I will say, look at people's reels, supervisors you admire, hit them up on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and be nice and be kind and be you, and just ask for 15 minutes of their time. If I can share with you my experience in 15 minutes, and it's something I'm really passionate about, and you can share your background, then you have just one more person who's on your team. So, you know, just if you're really, really passionate about this, you'll find a way to get in. And if you have to LinkedIn some people or send me a picture of your dog, I'll take it. Like, you know, so.
And last quick thing to add to that, like Jeff mentioned earlier, and Taylor, the reason I asked is because when you said you are the arts, like, my wife's a singer-songwriter, and she's from like South Jersey, so it's all very familiar. And her producer actually went to the school. He's a beast. Philly has probably one of the most prolific Grammy chapters in the country. So if you are in school, I firmly recommend reaching out to their Grammy U.
You know, I did say LA, but Ryan is right. Actually, the Philly, the New York and Philly is not out of the question. I just know people in LA are putting that department. I don't know if it's in Philly or not.
Yeah, well, that one, they're big because I used to work for the DC chapter when I was in school, like working for Grammys and specifically Grammy U. So if anyone here is in school, I recommend hitting up a nearby chapter because there's great networking that comes out of that. And they too do events, you know, with supervisors and things that you just resources. It's great resources, you know, that you can tap into. But that would probably be a very strong thing because I know their chapter was one of the largest. So yeah,
I'll throw one more thing of advice. I don't know when things open up again or when there's available stuff like that besides Zoom calls and stuff like that. All the other organizations, any organization that is dealing with the synchronization world, which is a lot of them now, but so like all the PROs, ASCAP, BMI, GMR, CSAC, they have programs where they invite music supervisors in, get ingrained, get invited to them. You'll meet people, like, you know, any of these events, these Zoom calls and stuff like that, whatever. I mean, in our culture, you have to work really hard and not get paid to eventually get paid. So there's a lot of work to put in, I suppose. Like, learn how to really learn how to music edit, because you can make your own cuts and you can say, look, I supervise this and this is how I would have it sound. There's your reel. You can make a reel without having credits. You can just make your own reel.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So I think we're about ready to transition to our listening session. So every week we choose a few folks to, you know, perform, whether it's live or digitally. So our team pre-screened a lot of music submissions, and we received and chose our songs based off of our quality of the sound, lyricism, and feedback that might or might not be needed. So if you guys are ready, we're going to move on to our listening session. Also, I want you guys to make sure that we do have a contact spreadsheet, which is in the chat. Thank you, Tiffany, for posting it. Just a great way to network and get to know each other as well. And we're gonna get started on our performances. So I know, again, a lot of people want to do some live performances. So if you would like to do a live performance, raise your hands. If there's anyone I know. Oh, okay. We got some hands here. So, oh wait, I just lost you. Okay. Jashmir, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Nothing. You ready to perform live?
Yes, I am. I'm currently at work right now, so I'm about to step away real quick.
Okay, perfect. This is a really cool part of our panel, guys. We have a lot of music that we have, and we're gonna listen. We're gonna have really enjoy ourselves. So, Jashmir, take it away. If you're ready to perform, we're all here to listen.
Got you. All right, so I'm gonna do my acapella. If that's cool. I can't die. When I looked at death, I finally flew. Cause when they go and kill your flesh and try to kill your drive on this road, let them know they could never kill your soul, my nigga. Yeah, you did everything you can to try to keep my pain alive. Take away my pride, take away my heart. But on this road, let them know they could never kill your soul, my nigga. Yeah. I said, tell me what it takes for a nigga just to feel alive. Tell me what it takes to make your spirit rise in the morning. Know these spells cast to keep you falling, so this my book of Job flesh. Catching all these omens, all these devils in my skin. Yet you judge me by my cover, but my page is white. Purity often breeds words. In my darkest nights, my light is on. And I try to paint a perfect picture. I ain't found one, so I lived in my hell, nigga. To each his own. I feel at home when I let my guards down. Said I feel at home when I let that love grow. Man, it's funny how this house finally turned into a home. When I looked inside myself, I realized that I'm not alone. I mean, I looked at myself and see my shadows made a throne. I mean, I looked at my pieces, made my fracture to a home. I mean, I love it here, because when I feel that fire, know that warmth appears. But I'm still learning how to trust the process. Here we go again. Woo. Yeah, so that's acapella.
Woo! I like that energy.
You get Kendrick comparisons? You got to.
I like all the song. All the song.
I figured.
Your voice, the same. You have like the same timbre and the same flow. So
yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
It's hard to say like anything about it just because we don't have a beat. But the thing that I will say about trailer and hip hop music is, hip hop and trailer music is that it's really important to have variety in the rhythms that you have, whether it's like you add sound design or add multiple layers or, you know, do something different, slow down, change the pace. Variety is really important because hip hop without the vocal can get really repetitive. So once you do add a beat to that verse that you just sang, rapped, sorry, make sure that you include some of the unique beats and unique flavor to it. So, but that was really good. I totally was like vibing with Kendrick.
Thank you, thank you. And just to say about the song too, we actually working on the production right now of it. It's like a soulful type of vibe that we're going for.
Yeah.
And we added like, different jazz elements to the song as well to really bring that out. So like we definitely on it. So it's good, should be coming out next week. We're just making sure it's finalized and everything is good.
Yeah, send it.
Keep clean versions, like just
Clean versions. Right. Clean versions.
because come on, yeah. But yeah, I hear you. You're right. Good stuff.
Yeah, thank y'all guys for listening.
Yeah.
Gonna move along. Lottie.
Hey, how's it going? Okay,
Hi,
I'm not
Lottie.
gonna. Hi, Lottie, reporting from New York. I'm based in LA, but I'm a New Yorker now at my mom's. But yeah, I'm just gonna play something. I'm not gonna perform live. Sorry, guys. It's just not that kind of day. But let me do a screen share if it's gonna let me. Okay, great. Share computer sound. Yes. Okay. Can you hear that? Okay.
Waiting for your showing at your beck and call. Yeah, that's what you want. No opinions, questions. That's my only job. Be your faithful lapdog. Seems you don't know what to think when you think of me. Yeah, I'm more than a body, more than just a face. You can't tell that I'm human. Well, ain't that a shame? Never be your robot. I won't obey. No, I won't obey. Ain't no switch can turn me on. I'm not your slave. No, I'm not your slave.
Okay, that's just a little thing there. But yeah, quick pop, electro pop.
We love you, Lottie.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I really like it. Can you send the link?
Yeah,
Nice.
totally.
I think it was good. I think if you got a lot of that stuff in your catalog, that's good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We got some music submissions. This next song I have for you guys, this is from Rob Taylor. It's called Insomniac. So let's give it a listen. Okay. Just make sure you guys hear everything. Okay. Oh, it's not playing. Let's try it again. Actually, we'll get back to that because it's still downloading. This song is from. Just kidding. Can you guys hear?
I don't wanna waste away. Tired of fighting things that I can't change. Time to put a plan in motion down. I'm a queen without a crown.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is.
You only say what you wanna see. Guess I'll never be what you want me to be. Give it up or let me go. Bet you don't wanna see me lose control. I fade too far in your shadow. Trying to hold me back with your words so clever, but I could do better. I'm done living with the heartache. Done living with it. Don't need you feeling sorry. Cause I'm the one who did it. Now I'm deep in it. Gonna get it right this time around. Might be a small world, but it's all mine now. Back from the blackout, but I won't back down. Hey, hey, I'm done living with the heartache. Yeah, done living with it. Done living with the heartache. Yeah. Oh baby, I'm the only judge. Forget about all the bad things that I've done. Forgiveness is something I'm working on, but I'ma be the first one. Set fire to everything you ever gave to me. I'm just a wild thing. Now it's time to get free. I fade too far in your shadow. Trying to hold me back with your words so clever, but I could do better. I'm done living with the heartache. Yeah. Done living with it. Don't need you feeling sorry. Cause I'm the one who did it. Now I'm deep in it. Gonna get it right this time around. Might be a small world, but it's all mine now. Back from the blackout, but I won't back down. Hey, hey, I'm done living with the heartache. Yeah, done living with it.
Okay, thank you for that, Kiki.
That was good.
That was really good. I love the organ, and if I could just say, like, if you get like some gospel choir samples and throw it in the back of that, that could be really, really cool.
It's got all the right things, the hand claps and the big chorus.
Nice
Big
job.
production.
Kiki, are you on here? That was from Kiki Halliday.
Yeah,
I think
I saw her name, but not her picture.
Yeah, I saw her too. Maybe she can't hear us.
I thought I just heard her.
She went away for her big moment.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kiki, for submitting that, if you can hear us. All right, Dia, on to you.
So we're gonna move on. This is from Deshaun, and this song is called Love and Patience. Wants to play. All right, it's coming on right now. Spotify wants to act wonky. Let's try it again. I'm just uploading it really quickly.
And while we're uploading it, I know people gave a shout out to Disco earlier. I firmly recommend you guys look into it. It's good. It's a good platform. And as supervisors, we dig it because it makes life easy. So, yep.
Very important. All right, let's.
Give me something new for the moment, something new for the day. I'm talking love and patience. Girl, your love's been fading for all of these niggas. Been trying to get with ya. You ready for pictures? And they ready to switch up now. Baby, tell me, how could you not see that everyone's changing? 'Cause I know the pain is there. Baby, your lane ain't fair. I know we played your heart, and I can't compare. But look at all the signs. Look at all the signs. Oh no. Look at all the signs. Look at all the signs. Look at all the signs. All the signs. Look at all the signs. It ain't like I tried.
Okay. All right, guys, that was from Deshaun. Deshaun, are you on? Deshaun?
Definitely felt like division, yeah.
Deshaun?
You're missing your moments.
Ezekiel, that's his real name. His born
Government name.
No, I saw him a little bit earlier. Okay, well, no worries. Dia, go ahead.
Okay, so we're gonna move along. This is from Dana, and this song is called Bright Enough.
Been in love with the same girl since we were teenagers. Can't imagine my life without her. Didn't know I was proud till I found her. But every couple of months I'm afraid I made it up, not enough to be taken serious when I say this is serious, not a phase. Why is everybody trying to make me fit into the only way that they see? Hate me outside of everyone. In the middle of downtown, getting lost in a big crowd. Confetti on the dirty sidewalk, but the colors always wash out. Why is everybody trying to make me fit into the only way that they see? Hate me for the rules that I'm breaking. Is my flag bright enough? Am I waving high enough? And am I on the outside of the outside of everyone? Can I be me and you be you? It could be simple if you wanted to.
That was solid.
Just add in something about this. We're kind of entering this new phase, especially with marketing, where we want to, again, be authentic. My favorite phrase. So I feel like songs like this, or like earlier, I'm so sorry, I cannot remember your name, but who you rapped earlier. A lot of our clients are asking for authentically Black music, authentically gay, by art, music that is authentic, and so a song like that is really key, because like I worked on a campaign called Love, Simon, and it's about this young boy who had trouble coming out. His secret came out before he was ready to, and he was in high school, and there was like a lot of drama. And so songs that I want to say, like, don't be afraid to sing about things that aren't commercial or aren't mainstream. You got to sing about things that mean something to you, and that will come across. I also worked on Creed too, and the first Creed, and it was so important that the artist be Black and talk about real, issues that Black people go through. And I will never ever know, obviously, but if I can place an authentically Black artist with authentic experiences, and the music is there, it comes across, so again, be authentically you, my favorite phrase for the day.
If I could give a quick production note, I low-key wish it started acoustic. I wish it was just voice guitar. I know that's a production thing, and I hate to do this, but yeah, I do wish that it did that, because it gives it somewhere to build. And that's not even a trailer note. That's just for acoustic, like all around. But it's a really dope song. And I was like, oh, that's a good pre-chorus. It's good. It's dope. It's melodic. People can sing along with that. So yeah, that's a good thing. Good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Moving along, do we have any more and thank you again, Dana, for your song. Do we have any live performances? Does anyone want to perform live? Anyone want to raise their hand? Don't be shy. I don't know.
Brian, this is your call. This is your call to start singing.
Oh yeah, right. At 10 a.m. Very funny. You're funny. I'm chilling.
I don't know if you guys want to hear me sing, so I suggest someone, if they want to sing, they can.
You don't got Lydia on call right there, Brian?
Man, Lydia's in there with the baby getting. That's why as soon as I get off, it's like, oh, let me get I got a diaper waiting on me. I'm sure of it.
You had your fun here.
I know, right? Yeah, pretty much. It's like, yeah, I hope you had a good day, because diaper.
We're actually gonna move along. We have Blessings by Ja Banks.
It's getting kinda scary, yeah. I lost some loved ones
the memories I'll cherish. And I know that it gets worse before it gets better. So I open my wings, you can call me a jet setter. I pray to God to send me all the blessings. Every L I ever took, I only saw them as lessons. The missing pieces to the puzzle, don't you ever forget it. Cause I'm one of a kind, it's a different bar that I'm setting and I'm too blessed. This ain't by me making no money. I'm healthy and I'm happy because I'm no longer running from the things I had to heal from. I already done it. So the next time you see me, you should know how I'm coming. And they say, y'all, you got that fire in your eyes. I say, you see me, right? I got a couple goals to reach, so ain't no sleep tonight. And it's so crazy, I don't vent, I just write it. Then I hop up on the mic and get these niggas all excited. I ain't tryna be, no, I ain't blocking my blessings. I just wish to be smooth. You know how I'm stepping, I'm just taking risks now. I'm going to get it, cause I deserve the world. That's the issue that I'm pressing. I ain't tryna beef, no, I ain't blocking my blessings. I just wish to be smooth. You know how I'm stepping, I'm just taking risks now. I'm going to get it, cause I deserve the world. That's the issue that I'm pressing. Lately all I've been seeing is triple numbers. The universe talking and it's a bet that I can't fumble. Everything really aligning and I'm still being humble. Feeling like Jane or Tarzan, the queen of the jungle. Or you can call me Nala, I don't need no Simba. I'ma go get it regardless, I don't need no nigga. I got the beauty and the brains, the maturity too. If I was you, I'd probably be curious too about how I'm moving. You know I keep my moves on the low. I never
Alright, so that was Blessings by Ja Banks. Ja Banks, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Jamina.
Hi.
I like that symbol line. Happy. I'm sorry, the Nala line. Screw symbol.
Thank you guys. So
Do you do your own? Do you produce your own music, or is it third party?
That was a third party, but I do produce every now and then.
Sample?
No, not with the sample.
Oh, good.
No, I meant like
no. Was there a sample on that track? That's what I was curious.
No.
Good deal. Phew.
No, it sounds like it's a piano sample. It's an old, so that's why it sounds older. It sounds like a sample because that's the piano whatever program.
Man, Jeff, I do not assume anything.
I know, but I can hear it. I could hear. I knew it wasn't a sample.
Hey, one thing about that put in the chat that we didn't talk about earlier, be sure that when you're pitching this stuff to supervisors that you have a version without the producer tag on it, because we know everybody wants to shout out their producer and that's great. But for the sake of, TV, et cetera, we want to make sure that you don't mess up the chances for the song by having a tag on there. So just have a version that doesn't have it on there as well. But yes, it was a dope track too.
Okay, thank you.
So we have 2 more songs here. This song is from Elsie and it's called On the Road. That was Elsie.
That's good TV stuff.
Right.
Have you gotten that to Yellowstone yet?
Elsie?
Here?
I'm here.
Oh.
Yeah. What is Yellowstone?
LC.
Does anybody represent you?
No, I'm actually, yeah, I'm trying to look for.
Does all your stuff sound like that? Has that the Western feel? Is it
I have
Americana?
some stuff. So actually, I have some stuff that's like more folk pop, and then I have some more like R&B pop, and then like electro pop.
So are you an artist, or are you're just making songs and you, like, so you don't have yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Yep, artist.
What is your? Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you have an identity? What's your identity? What do you call yourself?
Elsie.
No, I mean like your music. Like what do you? What? How do you?
What is
the artist? The artist sounds like such. What is? What do you say?
So like as far as comparing to other artists, or just like style in general, I would say like my style is kind of like a. I try to tell a story basically with my music, and my current theme is sort of like, you know, this is like the wanderlust sort of theme. And I think last time I had played another song, it's called Fast Life. So it's also kind of, it's more of like an 80s pop vibe, but similar kind of dreamy, you know, but also some of my stuff is more like heavy, but still kind of along the realm of like, I guess the journey of life, which I know sounds super vague. But then, yeah, probably could do a better job of get that like one-liner tag. But I would say like as a whole, indie pop, sometimes dark pop, sometimes folk pop.
Got it. Okay.
Don't beat yourself up over that, man. You know,
it's hard.
Yeah, no, well, because you know, some briefs will come across the table and they'll say, you know, we only want authentic artists or working artists. So like I was just trying to discern like, what do you consider yourself as? Do you have an artist? Are you strictly, you know, performing artist? You know, you make music, what have you, or are you making all kinds of different variations because you have a library of songs because you're very creative?
Yeah, I guess it's like a little bit of both. So I definitely consider more of like an authentic artist. So I'm, again,
you have social medias for your artist name, and you have you know, website and all that. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I love writing and I love everything. So
yeah, some briefs, I mean, they'll say it and they may still take music, but they often will say like no sync bands. So I was just trying to say.
Like specifically for, yeah, definitely more along the, this is like my
You're more of an artist. Got it.
Yeah.
Shout out to the production on that joint. I think a lot of the tracks here are pretty well produced. So yeah, it was a really well put together track. Great stuff.
Thanks so much.
I like
That's
your
what
music.
I was gonna say.
You have great music.
Listen, sorry.
Say that again, Patty.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to say something. Elsie, I love your music.
Sorry.
I've heard different variations of your music. I wouldn't put myself into a box if I were you. And you're a great artist. I think you should really, really, you know, push your music because it's great. I love your music. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dee. So we're going to do our last song of the day. I know you guys have a lot of music submissions, so if we didn't get to it today, there's always next week because we have these panels every weekend, or every Saturday, I should say. So this is our last song for the day. This is from Julian, and this is Holiday.
I hope it's a Thriller cover because Halloween's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah. Woo. Okay. Yeah. You only live once, better live right. Or you watch your sunset before your sunrise. Have no regrets. Take a deep breath, move forward from the past, leave it all behind. It's a bit much, but no one gives a fuck if the party's going up and you're on decline. So saddle up, let's take a ride. Forget your day, enjoy your night. It's all temporary, let's have fun and keep it steady. Notice people judging, they're just scared cause life is scary. Let's just let it go, embrace what we don't know. Cause you'll pass your days and then it's time to go. Pop this pill and we gon' take a trip tonight. Music's playing, push your body up on mine. We're just vibing, if they hate then we don't mind. taking out of time. We keep it lit on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Go even harder on a Friday. Forgot what happened on Saturday. Do it all over on Sunday. I know this is gonna end someday, but I'ma turn up to my last day. Every damn day is a holiday. Let's celebrate. If you
Right, and that was Holiday from Julian. Julian, are you?
Julius.
Oh, Julius. I'm sorry, Julius. Are you here? I said Julian.
Julius the driver,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
man.
Yeah, the driver.
My man
What's up,
driving
what's
and
up?
making jams for y'all out here. Good grief, man.
Vaping.
Sounds great.
I would be the
Appreciate you.
cheesy one and say, please put a sleigh bell on that, John, and sell it as a Christmas song. I mean, look, guys, I promise you it's a thing. Because it's not like a lot of up-tempo, dope Christmas stuff. It's just an idea. But even if not, the track is, yeah, shout out to the production here, guys. It's
That was a
good
good track. That sounds like, you know, and not to be like dismissive, but that's some Netflix films right there.
Right.
And also, we don't have much Christmas song, too many Christmas songs that are not specifically about Christmas, but about a holiday, you know?
Right.
So that's nice.
Right on. Yeah, we actually, me and my boy De La co-produced that, and I wrote it, engineered it, mixed and mastered it, pretty much do everything in house. But yeah, that's like that. What was that?
Did you see? Are those your vocals?
Yes.
Cool.
Stuff, man.
Thank you.
Thank you guys all for your submissions. And I just want to say thank you for everyone for coming out. That concludes our event for today. So hopefully you all learned something new. And if you had a good time, thumbs up. Oh, all these thumbs. Perfect. Thank you guys again. Last but not least, we just have a few announcements. So I'm going to pass the mic to Alexi, who's our CEO and founder of Finessed Media.
Thank you, Dia. Thank you, everybody, for coming on today. The talent in here, every weekend, every single weekend, we have so many talented artists. It's crazy. So thank you again to our panelists, Patty, Lana, Jeffrey, Brian. If you all ever need anything from our end, ever want to put on an event, we love you guys and are so appreciative of what you do. And then to all of the folks that want to continue being a part of our community. So this is actually one of our last totally free events. We've been doing this for 7 months now since COVID started. Every single week we've had listening sessions, artist battles, beat battles, worldwide showcases, etc. And we want to continue providing more opportunities. So in order to just keep upkeep and be able to enlarge our audience, we'll be starting a membership program. So next month, starting November 2nd, our membership will just be $5 a month so that artists can have an affordable opportunity to continue doing these. And then if you'd like your music screened on a weekly basis for the listening sessions, then it'll be $25 a month. But we just want to keep it affordable to all of you and just continue providing opportunities. So if you'd like to be a part of that, then the Finessed Media waitlist is going to be in the chat box. And you're always welcome to reach out to us if you have any questions. We love you guys. We started this as originally an e-learning platform in hip hop, and then because of COVID switched over to being a media and events company online. So we will also start doing chapters in specific cities. So specifically New York and LA we'll start off with, and then we'll see how things go from there. So thank you again, everybody, for coming. Dia, I'm going to pass the mic over to you if you have any last minute things to say. And if you ever want to reach out to me, you're always welcome to. I'll leave my Instagram in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was lovely.
And make sure you all tune into our Halloween Tricks and Treats event next week, where we'll be giving out a bunch of like free goodies, and who doesn't love free goodies? And also make sure you guys sign up for that Finessed Media membership so you guys know about updates as far as the team goes. And other than that, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining. Round of applause for our panel. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank everyone.
Awesome. I learned so much, guys. I knew I was going to learn a lot from you.
Nice.
Yeah.
So nice to meet everybody, and your talent is just exquisite. And Linda, I love your blue hair.
Make sure you guys also put any information as far as the spreadsheet goes, just for networking. It should be in the chat. But again, I appreciate you guys all for coming out, and it's a pleasure.
Awesome.
Make sure
everybody.
Have a good week.
I was on time this time.
Thank you, Brian.
On time this time. Yay. Be good, peeps.
Everybody.
All
Bye,
right.
Dia. Yay.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, Dia. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, guys. Turn up, be merry. Have a good time. Yeah.
Bye, Carolyn. Thank you.
Bye. Arrivederci from Italy.
Oh, thanks for joining.
My pleasure. It was great.
For worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you. Florence, Firenze.
Okay. Grazie.
See you another time. Thank you. It was great.
Bye. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Linda.